Hey, it's Victor Lucas from the Electric Playground, and I'm with Matthew Macfadyen, who plays Mr. Paradox in Deadpool and Wolverine. Great to meet you, sir. You are a tremendous talent. I loved you as Tom in Succession.
Thank you.
And boy, you're a very different person in Deadpool and Wolverine, aren't you?
I am, yeah. There's a whiff of kind of corporate douchebaggery still.
Yeah.
He works for a corporation, I suppose. But yeah, they're different. They're a long way from each other.
Well, you're on top of the game. You're sort of in control of the game. Why don't you take us into who Mr. Paradox is?
Well, he works for the TVA, which is the Time Variance Authority, and he's sort of middle management, I'd say. Probably a little frustrated at his position in the organization, and he
Tom-like.
Yeah, maybe, and he monitors timelines and prunes them and monitors the timelines in the multiverse. I guess that's what he does.
Had you watched the Loki series before? Were you familiar with some of this?
No, not really. No, I haven't yet, but I will.
So you went from working on Succession, and I saw how that show was doing a lot of improvisation and shooting on film and just letting film rolls just kind of complete and just carrying on and passing cameras to other camera operators. Incredible stuff. What was that transition like to move to Deadpool and Wolverine? Because I would imagine there was some overlap there a little bit.
No, I did another couple of jobs in between Succession and there were. I mean, the nuts and bolts of filming is the same, really. In it all, the scale changes. There's sometimes more money, and there's the different genres, but the actual process is very similar. Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is delivering just these machine gun lines, and I'm wondering practically what it's like to. Can you hear him? Is he riffing on stage in the costume, and can you actually hear it?
It's really hard because he's behind this mask, and he's either behind the mask or he has this hilarious sort of burn face, which doesn't look like him. So it's really discombobulating, and but it's very hard not to break. And because he sort of is the character, it's his baby, and he's brought it into existence brilliantly and beautifully, and so it's just, he's Deadpool to the tips of his fingers, so it just all comes out and at you. And so it's sort of daunting but really thrilling, because you're just trying to bat it back and forth, and it's wonderful. It's good fun.
There is this amazing, cosmic science in the Marvel Universe. And I'm wondering what your take is on the multiverse. Do you kind of believe that there are different variations of us and different timelines?
In our world?
Yeah, in reality.
In reality.
Do you think
I
there's
don't
some
know,
truth there?
maybe. I like surprises, so I would, yeah. Why not? I read somewhere in something that popped up on my browser that an astrophysicist was suggesting that we were actually in a black hole, our universe. And it's something to do with the limits of our observable universe is similar to the black hole, the parameters of a black hole. So I was like, okay, maybe we're one big black hole.
It's in a Marvel comic somewhere for sure.
It must be, yeah.
Have you seen the movie? Have you seen it all put together? And I'm wondering what your thoughts are.
Yeah, it's a delight. It's just one. It shouldn't work, but it really does. It's really it's quite touching at times, and it oughtn't to be because it's so silly and filthy, and the fights are so ridiculous. But it's actually really kind of moving, and it's just a hoot. It's brilliant. It's a really clever thing to do to sort of, because it's a story about friendship ultimately, and I guess that's what makes it interesting, and it's a big-hearted endeavor. I think if you can, I don't know, there is that thing when you make people laugh, you can sort of take them anywhere. That's the old adage from the theatre. If you can, once you get a laugh out of an audience, you can sort of quieten them down and do lots of things, and I think it works very well here. People relax instantly because it's funny.
Awesome. Well, Matthew, it's a treat to meet you. Are you ready to become an action figure?
Yeah, you have a lot there. Yes, I am.
I'll have room for Mr. Paradox.
Yeah, you can squeeze him in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you very much. Take care.
I'm with Emma Corrin, who plays Casandra Nova, Professor X's sister, which is a really cool character. Had you been familiar with the Marvel Universe and any of this stuff before, Emma?
I was a bit more with the X-Men universe than the Marvel universe, but obviously aware of it, as everyone is, and aware of its impact.
Omnipresent.
Omnipresent, yeah. Can't get away from it. Yeah, but it's been the most incredible thing to be in this film specifically, which obviously merges so many beloved worlds and means a lot to so many fans. And yeah, it's incredible.
Had you had a chance to take a look at Patrick Stewart's work or James McAvoy's work to kind of get some reference for Casandra Nova?
I did. I dived into their performances a little bit, not too much, because I didn't. You don't want to be over-influenced by things. But I was interested to know how they portrayed a character whose powers are so internal and so cerebral.
Right.
Yeah. But then I sort of found reference points from other films, like Inglourious Bastards, and Christoph Waltz's character in that, and Willy Wonka, Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka, which is great. Yeah.
So kind of being menacing and evil, but not overly projecting it, and sort of toning it down a little bit.
Yeah, Ryan and Shawn were quite clear at the beginning, which was so helpful, that they wanted Casandra, because she has this magnitude of power, because she's this Omega level mutant. You don't need to play it. In the same way as because Hans Lander is a Nazi and he's in the uniform, by not playing into that, by being relaxed and charismatic and like giving chit-chat, it's doubly creepy because it's not what you'd expect from that character, and it really makes the person who's sitting the other side of the table, it really makes, in this case, like Deadpool and Wolverine, who are opposite Casandra, not know what's going to happen next. And that was really fun to play with as an actor. You do feel very, you can kind of really keep them on their toes.
I would imagine that a Marvel set, especially the Deadpool and Wolverine set, is a very different vibe than on the set of The Crown. Can you talk a little bit about the enormity or some of the things that challenged you or impressed you about working in the MCU?
I went into this expecting a lot of green screen work because I sort of associated that with Marvel films and the level of CGI, but you know what? I didn't have a single scene against green screen. I don't think anyone did. It was all built sets. Our production designer, Ray Chan, who sadly passed away, is just one of, I think, the best production designers in history. He made these sets that were so immersive and so all-encompassing and technical. Really technical, really practical and functional, and they were like playgrounds that you could just play with and feel completely at home in. And for your character, that meant that you could explore so much more.
What was the most fun thing that you got to do on set when you were kind of harnessing your power and kind of showing the full potential of Casandra Nova?
There's one scene I think you see in the trailer where she and Casandra and Wolverine are having this sort of fight, and we ended up sort of not even choreographing it. We just went for it in a rehearsal and it really worked. I think because of Hugh's background in dance, probably. And I sort of just started conducting and he sort of started responding, and it felt really cool because when you're working with someone, an actor of that caliber who can work with you and react and move in the way that he can move, it kind of really did feel like I was puppeteering him. And then especially when we all rushed to the monitor and watched it back, and it really worked, and that was such a win. And I feel like those little moments where things are created almost by accident and then end up really informing your character are real wins.
It sounds like, as big as this movie is and the history that Ryan and Hugh have, that it was also a very welcoming environment and you guys got to play. Is that kind of true?
We really got to play, and it was a very welcoming, inclusive set where there were no wrong ideas. A lot of the improv was more just ideas and lines and suggestions that Ryan and Shawn would offer up, and it was always an offer. If you didn't feel like it worked, you didn't have to do it, but also there were no wrong answers. So there's always just let's just try one. Let's try it that way, and if it doesn't work, but then you might try something and then have an idea about how you wanted to do it, and so you could sort of build. And I think that's the beauty of how Ryan and Shawn work. They're really, they're fantastic in that way.
Awesome. Well, it's an incredible film. Congratulations, and it's wonderful to meet you.
Thank you, you too.